Hello, everyone. Okay, so this is a follow-up part of chapter number one's first sub-part of this book, An Era of Darkness by Dr. Shashi Tharoor. And we are currently discussing the sub-part known as the conquest of India by a corporation. Okay, and in a previous couple of videos, we have discussed how British, weakened the Mughal Empire and conquered the various princely states. What method did they deploy, and what is the basic information about EIC, how it got founded, what some basic overview about the subcontinent's share in the global GDP before British conquered India and after British left India. Okay, and in this video, this is basically a continuation of these two parts, and a question comes into the mind of a reader that, okay, British just came as traders under the garb of East India Company, and asked for a permission to do business in India from the Emperor Jahangir, and who was always drunk, by the way, who always used to get drunk. He was most of the time, as per some accounts of history, was not in his senses, and his and the queen, you can say empress, used to take over all the affairs and used to do the administrative side of the Mughal Empire. But the Jahangir was just a drunkard, so to speak, at that point. So, anyways, so in this particular video, we are going to discuss, okay, British came as traders. They asked for permission to develop factories, outposts, to do trade in India, and Emperor gave them the permission. And okay, so yeah, you basically kind of, the Emperor basically kind of gave the permission himself to the British. Okay, so come and conquer us, and he did not do anything about the recruitments of soldiers the Britishers were doing, and how the EIC was expanding itself militarily as well on the subcontinent, and Mughals did not do anything. Okay, so there are multiple other factors as well you need to consider while for example, in 1615 the British got permission from Emperor Jahangir to establish its first outpost and factory. Okay, and since then till 1757, I'm counting this complete period from 1615 to 1757, especially because in 1757 there was a battle between EIC and the Nawab of Bengal, which we are going to discuss in a brief detail later in this video. That was the point, the Battle of Plassey, when British officially got hold, militarily speaking, of Bengal. Okay, so what were all the events that happened during this particular time frame that Mughals did not say anything to British, or did not do anything to stop them or to punish them for what they were doing? There are a few events that took place during all this, due to which the Mughal Empire was eventually getting weakened by these particular events, alongside when British were, getting their roots strong in the subcontinent soil by building more factories, more outposts, more fortifying forts, and recruiting more soldiers to protect their premises, to protect their business interests in India. Okay, so the first one is the looting of Delhi by Nadir Shah. Okay, so this is quite an interesting incident that took place in 1739. Okay, you can say that it was quite close to 1757, but these were some of the events that I'm going to just mention here, that basically lay the foundation for British to conquer India once and for all eventually. um, in 1739, the Nadir Shah, who was the founder of Afsharid dynasty in Persia, Iran of today's day, he invaded India. He invaded Delhi. He looted Delhi. He looted Delhi like no one else. Okay, like he plundered gold, silver, jewelry worth of 500 million rupees of that particular time. And he also took the infamous peacock throne of that of then emperor with him as a spoils of war. And not only that, he stole the elephants, the horses, and in addition to all of this, he made an example out of Delhi of that time by littering 50,000 corpses, 50,000 soldiers, civilians, all sort of people who were locals of Delhi at that time. The streets of Delhi, it is said that the streets of Delhi were burning for over 8 weeks long after Nadir Shah went back to Persia. Okay, after plundering, after looting everything. And the plunder, the level of plunder that Nadir Shah did, and the scope of damage that India had to endure, the Mughal Empire had to endure at that time, was of this massive scale that when he returned to Persia, there was an announcement that took place that no citizen is going to pay any sort of tax for the next 3 years. Okay, so you can imagine the level of the scale of this plunder and this this invading by Nadir Shah, who is known as one of the most powerful rulers in Iranian history. And so this particular event, this particular looting of Delhi by Nadir Shah, weakened Mughal Empire just like everything. I mean, it just sucked everything out of Mughal Empire. And due to this particular moment, due to this particular incident, some other, you can say, a kind of a butterfly effect got invoked. Okay, after this particular event, as I mentioned earlier in my previous videos, that the Mughal Empire got so weakened. This was the particular event I was referring to at that time, that Mughal Empire got so weakened after this invasion of Delhi by Nadir Shah, that the other principality states, other princely states they started to disobey the Mughal Empire, and they decided that they will not going to pay any taxes to Mughal Empire now. As a result of which, the Mughal Empire further crumbled, and even the another blow that after the invasion of Nadir Shah was to Mughal Empire was that the Maratha Confederacy basically charged up on Mughals, and they kind of sensed the moment at that time that this is the best time they could conquer the most land of Indian subcontinent. And at that particular time, the Marathas basically fought Mughals, and they pushed them so into back to basically to just northern India. And it would not be incorrect that after the battles with Marathas of the Mughal Empire, the Mughal Empire got limited to only Delhi. Okay, and not beyond that. All beyond that, before the British conquered all of India, most of it got into the de facto control of Maratha Empire. Okay, so this was the another blow that the Mughals had to face while British were the East India Company was, eventually getting its roots strong enough in the subcontinent soil in various different parts of it. And the another after that, the you can say the event that kind of made the announcement official from the British side that now we are in charge of the subcontinent was the Battle of Plassey of 1757. Okay, in 1757, basically there was a battle fought between East India Company soldiers who were led by Major General Robert Clive, and the other one was Nawab Sirajuddaulah of Bengal. Okay, and the points of, you can say, the conflict was due to many points between EIC and Nawab Sirajuddaulah. Okay, I'm going to name them. I'm going to discuss them briefly after I cover this particular incident. That okay, the Battle of Plassey happened and the British won. Okay, the reason why the British won, because they had more modern equipment, more advanced technology, more advanced artillery, and one more thing, that they deceived Sirajuddaulah by their acts. Basically, what the historians say, that not only was the technological edge that the British had, they were also quite hypocrite in conquering and in showing what they actually what they appear to be and what their actual goals, ambitions were. Okay, if I have a business somewhere, I will not create an army for myself to protect my business premises. Okay, so these kind of things are quite unusual, which the rulers should notice, and we are going to discuss these in much more detail, that how the British kind of pushed the boundaries of Mughal Empire, and the Mughal Empire did not actually do anything about it, and they were just they just kept on with it. And okay, so this was one point, technological aspect, that led to the British victory in the Battle of Plassey. The second one was the deception point, that British deceived the Nawab of Bengal, and due to which you can say that he underestimated the power of the East India Company then. After that, there was one another particular point due to which Nawab, got defeated badly, was that his one of his most important ally, Mir Jafar, turned against him. And the thing is same as I mentioned in my earlier video, that the Britishers basically bribed Mir Jafar to turn against his own ally Sirajuddaulah, and as a result of which he was basically offered the that he is going to become the Nawab of Bengal, the puppet Nawab of Bengal, and the de facto power is going to be with the British. And for this all, he accepted the offer and he turned. Okay, so these were all some of the events due to which Battle of Plassey got won by British. Reason why the Battle of Plassey happened in the first place were various points. The one of them was British straight up denied and disobeyed the Nawab of Bengal to pay any taxes as they used to pay. Okay, as the Mughal Empire was getting weaker and weaker, so and there was a situation of chaos in subcontinent at that particular time. So British kind of they simply denied to pay any form of taxes to the Nawab of Bengal at that time. This is one point. Secondly, they disrespected him in every way possible. They did not accept his authority. They disregarded his authority, and these kind of things. And after that, you know the Battle of Plassey happened, and as a result of which, Robert Clive looted and transferred 2.5 million pounds, which, if as per the economic historians, which is approximately 250 million pounds of today. Okay, and he transferred all of these 2.5 million pounds of that time as spoils of war to England back then. After that, in 1765, the then Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II was forced by British to issue an order, or a Diwani as they called it in the court, to replace the Mughal Empire's tax revenue officials with Britain's tax revenue officials in the provinces of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. Okay, so this was the particular point. What I mentioned earlier, that the nature of business of East India Company was registered as trading in silk, spices, and every other profitable Indian commodity. And but on this particular in this particular year, in 1765, the by their acts, the East India Company basically converted or changed its nature of business from the traders to an enterprise who is going to collect revenue. Okay, a tax revenue collecting company. So this was the point. And after that, in the 90 years, yeah, this is an interesting point, that in the 90 years after the Battle of Plassey happened in 1757, East India Company conquered most of India with approximately 260,000 men. Okay, 260,000 men, soldiers in British Army at that point in time, reportedly at the start of 19th century, so you can say in 1800s, ruling over 200 million people of India at that time. Okay, so these were all the events that led to the complete crumbling of the Mughal Empire in India. Or I just quoted all the particular events that took place after the British got the permission in 1615 to establish its outposts. Okay, so these were all the reasons for now that the author has mentioned. Of course, we are going to this was you can say just one aspect of conquest of India by a corporation. There are going to be several economic, commercial, cultural aspects that we are going to discuss in the upcoming chapters, in the upcoming sub chapters of this chapter as well. So I'm going to close this video at this particular time. Okay, and in the next video we are going to start discussing the next sub chapter, which is named as the deindustrialization of India, taxation, corruption, and the Nawabs. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.